The gym was silent, save for the faint hum of the air conditioner and the echo of my own heartbeat. I stood alone by the weight rack, my hands trembling, not from the workout but from the words I hadn't yet found the courage to say. Coach Riley's shadow loomed in the doorway, her presence a storm I couldn't escape. My name is Emma, 28, a graphic designer by day, a gym rat by night. I've been coming to Iron Pulse Gym in downtown Seattle for 2 years, chasing strength, discipline, and maybe something more I couldn't name. That something had a name now, Riley. Coach Riley, 34. The woman who turned every head with her commanding presence and quiet intensity. She wasn't just a trainer. She was a force, sharp, focused, with brown eyes that could cut through your defenses or make you feel like the only person in the room. I'd spent months hiding my feelings, burying them under sweat and reps, but tonight, everything was about to change. It was late past closing time. The gym was empty, the mirrors reflecting nothing but the dim glow of the emergency lights. I'd stayed behind, pretending to need extra time on the treadmill, but really I was waiting for her. Riley had asked me to stick around, her voice casual but her eyes saying something else. "Meet me in the back office," she'd said, tossing a towel over her shoulder. My stomach flipped. The back office was her domain. Private, off-limits. A place where rumors swirled about what happened behind that locked door. I wiped my hands on my shorts and walked down the hallway, each step heavier than the last. The office door was ajar, and Riley sat at her desk, her coach's jacket slung over the chair, her black hair loose for once. She looked up and those eyes, God, those eyes, pinned me in place. "Emma," she said, her voice low, almost a whisper. "You've been avoiding me." I swallowed hard. "I haven't. Don't lie." She stood, closing the distance between us in 2 strides. The air crackled. "You've been different. Distant. What's going on?" I wanted to tell her. I wanted to spill everything. How her laugh made my chest ache. How her hand brushing mine during a form correction set my skin on fire. But I was terrified. This was Seattle, sure, progressive and open, but Riley was my coach. She was straight as far as I knew. And I was me. Just Emma, who'd never been brave enough to love out loud. "I'm fine," I lied, my voice barely steady. "Just tired." Her brow furrowed and she stepped closer, so close I could smell the faint cedar of her shampoo. "You're not fine. Talk to me." I couldn't. Not yet. But standing there, inches from her, I felt the walls I'd built start to crack. The truth was clawing its way out, and I didn't know if I could stop it. The next hour was a blur. Riley didn't push, but she didn't let me leave either. We talked about training, about life, about nothing and everything. She told me about her past, how she'd fought her way out of a small town that didn't understand her, how she'd built this gym from nothing. I listened, hanging on every word, my heart racing as I realized how much I wanted to know her. Not just as a coach, but as a woman. When I finally left the office, the gym was dark, and my mind was a storm. I didn't know what had happened, but something had shifted. Riley had seen me, really seen me, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for what came next. The next week was torture. Every glance from Riley felt like a question, every touch during training a spark. I was falling hard and I couldn't stop it, but the fear was just as strong. What if I told her and she pulled away? What if I lost the one place where I felt alive? I threw myself into my workouts, pushing my body to the limit, hoping exhaustion would drown out my thoughts. But Riley noticed. She always noticed. One evening, as I struggled through a set of deadlifts, she knelt beside me, her hand steadying the bar. "You're overdoing it, Emma," she said softly. "You're going to hurt yourself." "I'm fine," I snapped, but my voice cracked. She didn't move. "You keep saying that, but I don't believe you." I dropped the bar, the clang echoing in the empty gym. My chest heaved, not from the lift but from the weight of everything I wasn't saying. Riley stood, her eyes searching mine, and I felt exposed, raw, like she could see every secret I tried to hide. "Emma, whatever it is, you can tell me." Her voice was gentle, but there was an edge to it, like she was bracing for something. I wanted to run. I wanted to hide. But I was so tired of pretending. "Riley," the words caught in my throat, sharp and heavy. "I don't know how to say this." "Then just say it." She stepped closer, her hand brushing my arm. The touch was electric and I froze. "I'm in love with you," I blurted, the words spilling out before I could stop them. My face burned and I braced for rejection, for the world to crash down. But Riley didn't flinch. Her eyes softened and for a moment she looked almost relieved. "Emma," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been waiting for you to say that." My heart stopped. "What?" She smiled, a small, nervous smile that made her look younger, vulnerable. "I've been trying to figure you out for months. I didn't want to push, but I feel it too." The world tilted. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Riley, the woman I'd idolized, the woman I thought was untouchable, was standing here, telling me she felt the same. But before I could process it, she stepped back, her expression shifting to something guarded. "We can't do this," she said, her voice tight. "Not here. Not like this." "Why not?" I asked, desperation creeping in. "Because I'm your coach. Because this gym is my life, and if anyone found out," she trailed off. But I heard the fear in her voice, the same fear I'd carried for years. I wanted to argue, to fight, but the look in her eyes stopped me. She was right. This was complicated, messy, dangerous. But as I walked away that night, my heart was alight with hope and terror. A dangerous mix that promised nothing but trouble. For weeks we danced around it. Stolen glances, lingering touches, moments where the air between us felt alive with possibility. We didn't talk about that night, but it was there, in every look, every word. The gym became our stage, a place where we played our roles, coach and client, while hiding the truth. But secrets have a way of slipping out. One night, as we cleaned the equipment after hours, Riley's hand brushed mine, and neither of us pulled away. We stood there, frozen, the world shrinking to the space between us. Then, without a word, she leaned in and kissed me. It was fire and softness, desperation and relief. I kissed her back, my hands finding her waist, pulling her closer. The gym, the rules, the fear, it all melted away. For that moment it was just us, two women who'd found something real in a world that didn't always understand. But reality crashed back. The sound of a car door outside jolted us apart, and Riley's face was a mask of panic. "We can't," she whispered, stepping back. "If anyone saw." No one had, but the fear lingered. We agreed to keep it secret, to meet outside the gym, away from prying eyes. Late-night coffee shops, quiet parks, stolen moments where we could be ourselves. Each time I fell deeper, and so did she. Riley wasn't just my coach anymore. She was my heart, my home. But the gym was still her world, and I was still her client. The tension grew. A tightrope we couldn't balance forever. Whispers started, other trainers, regular members noticing how often we were together, how our eyes lingered too long. Riley grew distant, her smiles forced, her touches hesitant. I could feel her pulling away, and it broke me. One night I confronted her in the back office. "Are you ashamed of me?" I asked, my voice shaking. "No," she said, but her eyes were haunted. "I'm ashamed of hiding. But this gym, Emma, it's all I have. If I lose it—" "You won't," I said, stepping closer. "We can figure this out. Together." But she shook her head, tears in her eyes. "I don't know if we can." The rumors grew louder. A member caught us holding hands in the parking lot. And by the next day the gym was buzzing. Riley's boss, the gym owner, called her into a meeting. I wasn't there, but I saw the aftermath. Riley's face pale, her hands shaking as she told me they'd warned her about professional boundaries. "They know," she said, her voice hollow. "They didn't say it outright, but they know." "What did you tell them?" I asked, dread pooling in my stomach. "Nothing," she said. "I denied everything. But Emma, if this gets out, I could lose my job. My reputation. Everything." I wanted to scream, to tell her we were worth fighting for. But I saw the fear in her eyes, the weight of a life she built from nothing. I couldn't ask her to risk it all, not when I wasn't sure I could do the same. We tried to go back to normal, but normal was gone. Every touch felt like a risk, every word a potential betrayal. I started skipping sessions, unable to bear the distance between us. Riley noticed, of course. She always did. One evening she cornered me in the locker room. "You're pulling away," she said, her voice raw. "Don't do this, Emma. Don't give up on us." "I'm not the one giving up," I shot back, tears burning my eyes. "You're the one who's scared." "I am scared," she admitted, her voice breaking. "But not of you. Never of you." "Then what?" I demanded. "What are we doing, Riley? Hiding forever?" She didn't answer. And that silence was louder than any words. I walked away, my heart in pieces, wondering if I'd ever feel whole again. Weeks passed, and the gym felt like a ghost of itself. I avoided Riley, training at odd hours, but her absence was a wound that wouldn't heal. I missed her voice, her laugh, the way she made me feel alive. But I couldn't live in the shadows anymore. One night I found a note slipped into my gym bag. "Meet me in the back office. Please." It was Riley's handwriting, and my heart leapt despite everything. I went. She was there, sitting on the edge of her desk, her eyes red-rimmed but resolute. "I'm done hiding," she said before I could speak. "I love you, Emma. And I'm not ashamed of it." I froze, my breath catching. "What about the gym? Your job?" "I talked to my boss," she said, her voice steady. "I told him everything. He wasn't thrilled, but he didn't fire me. He said we need to keep it professional here, but I'm not losing you to save face." Tears streamed down my face, but they were tears of relief, of joy. "You mean it?" She nodded, stepping closer. "I've spent my life fighting for what I believe in. And I believe in us." We kissed, and this time there was no fear, no shame. Just love, raw and real. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. Gossip would linger, judgments would sting, but we'd face it together. The gym became our sanctuary again. Not just for training, but for us. We built something stronger than fear, something worth fighting for. And in the quiet moments, in the back office or under the stars, I knew I'd found my home in her.